Why is it not letting me unmute? Hi. Oh, there we go. We have sound. I believe we have sound. Kenny Soto, since you were the first one to say hello and you said greetings, can you hear us, Kenny? And I only want to hear from Kenny. Nobody else at this moment. Kenny Soto, can you hear us? You got to be faster than that, Ken.
Come on, Ken.
Y-E-S.
Come on, Ken.
Can anybody hear us?
Anyone hear us out there?
We want to make sure you can hear us as we get started. We're playing with some newfangled toys today and making sure that you can hear us and see us. It looks like you can see us.
Billy's talking. I don't know who's talking.
Poor Billy's on mute
right now. Billy's on mute. Can you unmute him?
Yes, Greg Marcus. See, thank you very much, Greg Marcus.
All right, here we come.
All right, everybody. So it looks like we're on a little bit of a delay, so we're all right.
It took a television guy, Greg Marcus.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Rab's Country Lanes. We are live from inside, as we've told you this week. Naz and I are going to be coming live from you as of today daily. We're looking forward to sitting in your living rooms, your offices, or wherever else you might be today, quarantining yourselves. Naz and we're kicking off the Live from Rab's show with special guest hosts today. If you tune in to Live from the Draft League,
which we hope you are watching.
You better be. You better be.
We've brought in our esteemed guest hosts, Joe Bruno and Joe Cal, right here into the studio, where we have no audience, a very little production team.
Oh, they're just saying there's a little bit of a delay.
Loud and clear.
You got me worried there for a moment, but we're all right. Rob Butler said we're loud and clear, so we're good to go.
Yeah.
Good.
So today's our premiere show. We've got a nice opportunity to talk to some folks. We have PBA Hall of Famer Bill O'Neill, PBA soon-to-be Hall of Famer at some point. Sorry. We were just having this conversation, and you put that in my head.
Yeah,
so
sorry.
12, right?
Well,
can he hear me?
He can hear us, but we can't hear him yet. So we're going to bring him in in a little while.
Sorry,
Bill. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. We hope that you'll enjoy it this week.
We need a longer table.
We've got
I know we need a longer table. We're very comfy.
It's okay. We're all right.
The social distancing, we're not there. When Naz and I are alone,
we're not
even
even arm's length, but that's okay.
Joe, do we need to? Yes, Joe.
Yes.
Joe, Naz, Joe, masks. Do you need your masks? We're all right.
There we go.
Thanks, Stephanie, for pointing that out.
Thank you.
So, hey, Naz, this is Saturday afternoon, and we wouldn't be typically doing this.
No, we wouldn't. Normally, a Saturday afternoon in March, we would be really busy right now. Actually, I think the Staten Island Singles Classic would be bowling, their first squad right now. And some of our junior bowlers would be competing in the Pepsi Youth Championships right now. And I know it's disappointing for them. And we feel terrible that they're missing this opportunity. But I can guarantee you, hang in there because we're going to be back and better than ever very shortly. So no worries there.
That's right.
So, hey, Andrew Payne, of course, we should put a little, I think we'd have to get a sign. Production, we need a sign that we know we're not 6 feet apart.
Yes.
We're very well aware.
Everybody calm down. It's okay. Glass half full, folks. Think positive.
So Naz, you talked about, Pepsi, this would be this weekend. The last 2 weekends, our youth bowlers had competed here at Rabs in the state Region 9 team championships. And under normal circumstances, they'd be headed off to Syracuse to compete in that event.
Yeah, they would.
We had over 90 teams compete.
We did.
And from Rabs, we had 3 champions.
Yeah, we did.
So congratulations to them, our unofficially champions, but I'm pretty sure they are official champions.
Right.
So congratulations to those young bowlers, and they'll be recognized for their achievements on the lanes. And we're going to have to get some of the youth bowlers on the phone with us this week to talk a little bit.
Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to having maybe a couple of them call in and getting them up on our live show. I think it'll be exciting for them too.
Should be.
And they're all getting ready for what will be junior gold. So right now we're still on the table. So you have a lot to look forward to, especially when we can get back on the lanes.
That's right.
Hey boys, anything you want to add before we bring in our special guest this afternoon?
I just want to add that I hope everybody is following the rules, even though we're not.
Right,
But
yeah.
no, on a serious note, following the protocol, this stuff matters. You know, it's not about me or Frankie or Joey or Naz. It's about our parents, the elderly. Someone carries it from A to B. They
Right.
give it to them. It's not necessarily us in general, but the protocol must be followed. And I was a little bit of a naysayer early,
Right.
but now I'm all in.
Yep.
I'm wiping things down.
Yep.
Can't take the risk
Yep.
because I need that mortgage paid. I
Yes.
can't leave my wife with that burden. Right,
Amen.
Nez?
Right?
Amen.
No, you better not.
That's true. Yeah, and I'll just jump on what everybody has been saying, that, I had to travel back and forth this week to go to work, and the express buses were pleasantly empty, and traffic was pleasantly light. But although, that part of going back and forth made my life a little bit easier, just knowing why all that was happening, and it just kind of makes you a little unsettled, and I kind of felt like I was in the twilight zone every day, commuting back and forth.
Yeah.
The city was a ghost town, but we just, want to hope and pray that we all get through this. We're going to be okay. We know we're not separated the right distance right now, but at some point, you kind of miss you kind of want to hug people, but you can't. So we'll be all right. We're going to be okay.
I have to say that got me out of hugging a few people this week.
This is true. The bowling community is a handshake community.
Yes, it
Think
is.
about it. The
It's also
bowling
a hugging-
world is
it's a
all
hugging
about high
community.
five.
It's a hugging
We get a
community.
lot of hugging, kissing.
Hugging,
hugs.
yeah. I mean, that's what we do, and
Yeah.
now we're out of our element now.
Yeah.
It's funny, but it's not funny. We spent a lot of time this week really thinking about our regular maintenance, and so
Mhm.
while we spend a lot of time cleaning this place, you look at things a little bit differently when we're having these conversations, and so we've spent a lot of time cleaning, especially over the last few days. Well, sadly, this is day 5, and nobody's been in the building since Monday night, except for us and Marco, who's been serving up pizzas and delivering.
Yeah.
So we're really trying to make the best of this, and that's what this is about. Us getting together every day to talk to you. You're going to talk with us. Nazareth, your daughter is asking if we're drinking quarantinis.
Not yet.
We're
Not yet.
not, unfortunately.
Not yet. Hey, Frank, on that note, I do want to add that when I came in the other night to pick up a couple of pies from our friend Marco, I did notice that Piero was here. Does he ever leave? Piero ever leave?
Yeah, he likes it
I
here.
know.
He's strangely very comfortable here. So yeah.
You want to try it? Michael!
Come on out.
No, he's been here. And so the guys, the last couple of days, they've been working. Joe noticed the bumpers were up. They were doing some dusting and cleaning underneath the lanes.
Can we
the
leave them
last
up?
couple of days.
Is it all right if we leave them up on Monday nights especially? Can we leave them up?
So hey, we've got a special guest with us today. We'll continue talking, but we want to bring him in. He's been silent, the poor guy. I think he's home.
He's ready.
He's like,
ready.
what about me?
He's home. I think I got this. Oh,
There he is.
okay. No, I'm learning. I'm learning.
here.
I'm trying to figure this.
He's there.
You're not
There he
there.
is.
You're here. Solo off.
Oh, there you go.
There you are.
It's going in and out, but I'm here.
There you go.
All right.
Nice, Frank.
Bill?
Good work.
Billy,
Hey, we got it.
Very nice.
So Bill, first of all, we know you're home, cooped up with the kids and the wife. You want to talk a little bit about that, but you're our first special guest here on Live from Rabs, and we appreciate you taking the time to join us and be with us and talk to our folks out there.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for including me. And I know that I'm the only professional bowler's phone number that you have. That's why I was the first guest.
Thank you for coming up Frankie's spot. We like that.
So when
You're the first one that
days
answered.
ago and asked me if I was free at 2:00 on Saturdays, I guess maybe I'll squeeze a shower in beforehand. I don't know, but it's I don't really have much going on.
And how are the kids holding up?
The kids are hanging in there. My daughter is only 2, so she just loves that she's getting to hang out with mom and dad and run around the house all day. My son is 7, so he's getting a little antsy. I think it's starting to wear on him a little bit, but at least the weather's been all right, so he's been able to go outside and shoot some hoops in the front yard and run around the backyard a little bit.
Can Gavin bowl in the house?
He's got some plastic pins set up. He's got the we put the pillows up against the wall so he doesn't damage anything. So He's all set up with that.
That's good.
That's awesome. Very good. Which one of you guys want to kick off here?
Hey, Joe Cal. Joe
You want
Cal
me to
always
kick it off?
bats lead off.
All
It's
right.
like Ricky Henderson.
I'm the Ricky Henderson of our show, so I'll bat lead off. So Billy, I had the pleasure of meeting you a couple of months ago for the first time. Like we just talked about when we were off camera before we came on, and I said that your style of bowling is one that I know everybody here from our group can appreciate because we're what you would term the old school, down and in, stroke the ball type.
The purists?
The purists.
The purists, Bill.
So, Billy, I did say that you kind of reminded me of PBA great Dave Ferraro. And the more I think about it, there's two other Daves on that note. You also have a little bit of David Ozio in you and a little bit of David Houston. So those three guys, the Mount of David.
Yeah, he's right.
You kind of, if there was a Mount Rushmore of those Davids, you'd be a Billy up there. But your style is kind of fitting along those three guys that comes to mind because I'm a guy that watched the PBA telecast from probably back starting in like 1969, and every Saturday, me and my dad would sit down and watch that show. And those guys from back in the day, they have a special place in my heart. And every time I watch you bowl, you make me think about those guys in those times. So how do you feel about a comparison like that to those guys with your style?
I mean, that's a great compliment. I mean, those guys are awesome. Those are guys that I watched a ton when I was growing up. I mean, David Ozio was just like the quintessential perfect textbook style.
Yep.
Dave Ferraro, very, very similar to that. Dave Ferraro is actually a guy that one of my very first experiences with a television show that was at Calendrillo Lanes when I was a kid, and I bowled in the Pro-Am, and my brother was like maybe 6 or 7 at the time, and he won the Pro-Am and got to sit on the show.
Nice.
And so we were sitting there as well in the back.
Uh-huh.
And, Dave won the event, and so that was like one of my first like live PBA experiences. So it was
Cool.
Dave's always got a special place in my heart as well. Just from that.
Nice. So the other thing is you and your dad, again, going back to when you first started. I know your first show. I know if I remember, I can't remember who the broadcasters were, but they kept showing your dad and they kept talking about the special bond that you guys have. So what is it like? You and your dad. I'm sure, is he the one who got you started in the game?
Yeah. So how I got started is basically kind of like most people, do. Like when they're kids, they want to be around their dad and their grandfather, and that's I was like that. And I just they were always at the bowling center. My dad bowled league. My grandfather was huge into it. He bowled a lot of tournaments in the Trenton, New Jersey area, and and over the bridge in my area as well. And so just being around them, like it's all I knew.
Okay.
And I just spent a lot of time doing that. And from that point on, me and my dad have had a really special connection with the game, and he's obsessed with it. And it's really helped me out. I mean, he's the reason why I'm where I am, and just to be able to come home and be off the road. And then my coach is my father, so kind of I get to see him and hang out with him also while he's helping me get better.
That's cool, Billy, because I know most of us here, I think all of us here, owe it to our dads that we got into the sport, and bowling is so much a special place for us. The bowling center is a home away from home. Last question from me before I turn it over to the other Joe is all of our junior bowlers out there who were fortunate enough to make it out to Junior Gold this year, which I believe is in Las Vegas in July, with everything going on now with this COVID-19 and coronavirus and all, the kids aren't going to have a chance to really get out there now and practice. Any words of encouragement that you could possibly give them about how do you stay focused? What could you do, maybe from the mental aspect, because we know they can't get on the lanes right now. So what would you say to them?
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of technology right now is that YouTube is a great resource for kids, just to constantly be learning. So while you're not able to improve physically and practice and and get out there every day, just going online and reading things from maybe there's Brad and Kyle Sherman have a great YouTube channel where they're out doing giving tips out, and there's other guys that are doing the same type of thing. Plus you can watch old PBA shows and just like do things where you're grabbing little tidbits of information to kind of keep your brain fresh and trying to learn that way, and then hopefully when you can get back on the lanes, you can start to apply some of it.
Perfect advice, Billy. Thank you. Okay, so
Thank
now
you.
that's it from me for now. I'm going to turn it over to my buddy Joe Bruno. Thanks, Billy.
Thanks. What's up, Bill? Just so you know, Brad and Kyle have the second highest rated bowling show on the internet today. Joe and I are in number one. The ratings came out this week in the draft league, Monday night, 9:00. Hour show. But to touch on your younger days, how did you know you were good enough? And what age did you realize that? Like, I was just curious, what did you average when you were 12, 13, and 14?
If I remember right, like when I was like 12, I think I was like 190, I think. I bowled it was like an old wood center. I'm getting interrupted here.
Love it.
Hi, can you go up? You want to say hi real fast?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, cutie.
I'm doing an interview. Can you go upstairs? No, you don't want to go upstairs.
You can hang out with us too. You can hang.
This is real life.
Yeah. Even pro bowlers have to be dads all the time.
Yeah, I left my son in charge of Avery, and it didn't go well.
Oh, that was expected.
Mommy's upstairs. We got a bunch of cleaning to do since we're at home doing nothing. We can kind of get the house organized. So we're trying to split kid duties. I'm shirking my responsibilities right now.
So when you were younger, did you play other sports? And what made you realize, wow, I'm really good at this?
Yeah, so I played a lot of different sports when I was that age, 11, 12, 13, and I did a lot of baseball and basketball were my two other sports that I did the most. And I just got to a point when I was like 13 or 14 when I realized that I'm only 5'8". I know I look taller on TV. 5'8".
That's a good point.
So once I realized I wasn't growing anymore, I had a ceiling in basketball. That was my favorite sport, but I was only gonna do so much. So bowling was I was pretty good at it. So I just kept going. And you never really know how good you are on a national stage at 12 or 13, especially in the 90s when I was growing up. That there wasn't quite the database of things that you have now.
Right.
So I just bowled league, and then I went high school.
You won College Player of the Year 3 times?
Yes.
And obviously there's been other college bowlers of the year that have not succeeded on the tour. So when you came up with this, like, I think I'm going to try it on to make it on the tour, what did your parents say?
That I had the greatest support system that anybody could ask for. I mean, I tell people this all the time, is that if you think that you can make it to where I have, like, by yourself, you're lying. You're kidding yourself. Like there's just everybody in my life has been unbelievable to me, and they're the reason why I'm here. My parents were totally supportive. My dad's lived bowling since he was a kid, and it was part of his dream was to see me live mine. So they let me live at home for nothing for years while I tried to scratch and claw and make a couple dollars here and there bowling until I got on my feet. And if it wasn't for that, I certainly wouldn't be here.
Right. And wait, one more thing.
No, you're good.
Your mom passed, may she rest. And I have a story. I met your mom at Calendrillo. It was maybe your rookie year. I think you might have made match play.
Okay.
You were very young. And I went to Calendrillo, Frank, with my parents, Frankie Grasso and Lisa, the Albanises. We used to go every year to watch the Open. And Bill made it to match play. I think I have the details right. And we were standing behind Bill. And me and my mom were like, wow, this kid looks pretty good. And your mom was standing next to my mom. And she said, that's my son. They started talking. And I always remember that. Yeah. I think you might have been throwing an EPX. Remember that?
So if it was the first year, if it was the year that Chris Barnes won.
I don't know who the winner was, but.
So if that was like 04, I was with Columbia. I was throwing a detour.
Okay, all right. See, that's crazy to remember that. But the point is that I actually remember a young Bill O'Neill and Bill O'Neill's mom, which is the great part about professional bowling, is that you can be interacting with, you don't get that in any other sport.
Yes, that's right.
So I'm standing next to Bill O'Neill's mom. We're
That's
talking
right.
about Bill. It's
That's
great.
right. Yep.
So
And my parents always loved that too, just to kind of like, sit in the crowd, and they would just, just to listen to people,
and that's what happened.
positively or negatively about any one of us. They always thought kind of.
And she was very proud of you. So
yes, they are. My mom loved that event. She would she lived for that event every year. And I remember one funny story about her at that event. I was bowling Norm Duke in a match play. Like, I was probably like, I don't know, 5 years into my career probably, and she was, the steps there at Calendrillo right down to the settee area. And she was sitting there, and I was sitting next to her. Norm needed a double to beat me for the bonus pins, and he got the first one, and the second one he rolled the 2-pin, and she yelled the F word really loud, really loud. And I'm sitting next to her. I'm like, no, we don't do that. We can't.
Yeah, but you rolled the 2-pin. You have to say that.
I'm sure that wasn't the only time that she.
No. That's where I learned how to curse. Was my
there you go. It's funny you bring that up. We had some great memories going over to Calendrillo.
Oh, I love
for
it. Are you kidding me?
The JP Open and then the US Open and
when are they coming back, Frank?
Hey, that's out of my realm.
Oh,
we'll
man.
keep that with the PBA.
The Pro-Am. We used to bowl the Pro-Am every year.
Well, we were supposed to bowl the finals of the playoffs this year there.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So everything's gotten pushed back. So we're all kind of in limbo and kind of seeing what's going to happen there. But yeah, we were supposed to go back for the finals and film a TV show there. So we were all pretty excited about it.
It'd be cool to be close to home. For that event, I'm sure.
Yeah.
For sure. I could make the Final Four of that event, and it would be at Calendrillo. That would be
awesome.
Pretty insane show.
That would be great. Yeah.
So my nephew Thomas is infatuated with watching bowling, and so he's always asking, "Hey, which ones did you go to?" So we pulled up the 2000 JP Open on YouTube, and there he's going, "That's not you." I said, "No, that's your dad." And he goes, "No." It's just awesome, but you have great memories of having that ability to get up to go to a PBA event and experience that live, which is cool, especially in that venue.
Yeah.
One time, Bill, I think I went with Tony the Hound Dog Everts, by the way.
He's
we
part
went
of our
out to Long
production.
Island to watch an event.
I was with you.
Joe was there too.
with you,
Okay,
yes.
so during
I
qualifying,
was with you. Yeah.
literally talking to Robert Smith
Yes.
while he's qualifying.
Yes.
Just talking about specs and
That's right.
I was asking him about his thumb pitch and everything. He's talking to me while the event is going on. Try and do that with another pro athlete.
No way.
It was great.
Yeah. That's right.
Chuga was nice too. You just talking to you while they qualifying.
We were talking.
Standing right back there.
Yep.
Yeah, that is a cool aspect of bowling, and on the other hand, I kind of hate that as well.
Most league bowlers hate it too.
It really depends on how that's going, because there's some people that, because we are so close, that don't really grasp the idea of personal space and the fact that we're competing and they don't understand the fact that we're competing, and like people will ask for autographs and pictures like in between games, and I'm like
Hey,
no.
Bill,
Like trying to focus.
what do you guys do in between blocks?
What do we do?
Yeah, go eat.
It just depends on how much time. Each event is different, with the amount of time that we're given in between. So it could be something as quick as just going and grab something to eat and coming right back, or we just we'll get lunch and then go back to the place. Whoa, sorry. I got you.
Rosin for that?
Disinfectant
Oh, okay.
Or we go back to our place and hang out there. So it's just. I don't like too long of a break because I don't want to come down too much off the adrenaline and then want to take a nap. I don't want to do that. So I kind of like to just stay in the mode.
So I have 2 questions actually. First, what do you feel about kids specializing in sports?
Yeah, no, that stinks. Can't do that. Because I've seen it so much doing clinics and where it's mostly the parents, I think, are the reason why kids are specialized in things, because they force it down the kids' throats and they're trying to live vicariously through them, and they think every kid is going to be a professional at something, and it's just not the case. And I think you want kids to have fun in everything. You throw them into everything and you see kind of what sticks.
Yep.
And and you read all these articles from all these like medical professionals that tell you that when you specialize in things like that and you play one sport year round, your muscles and they don't develop properly because you're not using all of them. For different sports, like me, like now, like I'm 38. I'm specialized. I don't not do much other things. So, but when I go to like throw a baseball with my son, or I'm having throwing a football around, like my shoulder hurts like pretty quickly because it's just used to going the other way.
Right.
Yeah.
And now I'm flipping it around and throwing it overhand. It's it doesn't take long for it to hurt. So and I think that that can happen with kids as well. If you just start doing the same thing over and over again, you're just it's not going to be good for their long-term development.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we have a question from John Baranello, who wants to know what your most clutch shot was.
He would have.
Probably just a month ago at the Players Championship was probably the thing I'll remember the most as far as like clutch. I had a tournament where I won against Brian Valenta some years ago, where I doubled in the 10th to win on a much harder lane condition. So that was probably like the two like best shots. But I think when you like take everything into consideration, that being a major and I hadn't won a major in 10 years and those kind of things, make that moment a lot more special.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you.
Billy, for what it's worth, that question was from a lawyer. John is a lawyer. So that was a spot-on professional question.
Well, what type of law? Just in case, for future reference, I need somebody.
Criminal law. No, I'm not sure what he. I mean, he's our favorite lawyer, but I'm not sure exactly what he studies. But he pretty much does it all. He does.
All right.
Yep.
Bill, I had another one. Who are your best friends on tour? Who are your closest guys?
Oh boy.
So Jason Belmonte is the person I travel with. He's one of my closest friends in life, not just in bowling. And then I just a lot of guys that I've grown up with that are similar age than me. I've palled around with Tommy Jones for forever. Chris Barnes is somebody that I've been around a long time, and some of my friends I've been around long enough, they're not bowling anymore. So PJ Haggerty was somebody that I was really close to, and Mike Fagan. And those guys are off in the business world now doing real things, and so the circle's certainly gotten smaller over the years, especially hanging with Jason. You hang with Jason,
full throttle.
Small circle. A lot of jealousy around.
Can I give you a for instance? I was bringing this up to Joe before. Let's say it's match play, right? And you're around 15th or 16th. You have no shot at the show. However,
no.
Those friends that you just mentioned,
He said no.
Just blink. You don't have to answer. You can blink. Is 30 to 50 to 60 pins out, and you're scheduled to bowl them before the position round. Do you flag a 10 pin by a half inch for the bonus pins to go to your friend?
Nah, I've never done that. I've never because
just curious.
Boy.
He's very honest, but I'm going to tell you this. I would miss that for any one of these people out here, including Red.
See, here's the thing, though, is that now there's so many other things that we are qualifying for while we're bowling.
Right.
So that, and if you move up one space, you're making more money as well.
Right.
And then also we have points attached to these tournaments. So like you have these playoffs. You need every position and every point because you just never know how it's going to work out between making the top 24 for the points or top 8 for the buys. There's a lot of things that go in. We have like end of the year events that are all with the points and everything. So like it's just you got to try to move up as
great political answer.
Excellent
answer. and the attorney, the lawyer agrees. John Barinello, he agrees, and he said he's going to send you a bill.
Oh my God! You see that?
He's relentless.
Now, I will tell you that's happened. It's not with me, but it's happened.
Since you brought up Jason Belmonte, so what are your thoughts on two-handed bowling, and maybe in particular younger bowlers and two-handed bowling?
Yeah. So my answer is not. I'm not coming at you for the question. Okay?
No, it's fine.
I can't believe we're still having this discussion.
I agree.
It's absurd at this point. I mean, it's part of bowling. The people who are against it and are complaining, they're just, they're a very small minority, I believe, at this point, and they're just loud, and we have to ignore them. I believe Frank can correct me on this, but it's something around the 20% range of the kids at Junior Gold bowl two-handed.
It's pretty high, yeah.
Yeah, so like it's not going anywhere, and at this point, we don't have enough people that bowl that we're gonna like just eliminate kids or anybody who want to bowl the way that they want to bowl. We're not, certainly not in that position to do that as an industry, and we're angry because people have figured out a way to do it that if they do it well, it's better. I think it's such a ridiculous thing to. For people and for people to think it's pretty absurd.
Yeah, it's funny because when kids are learning, a lot of them don't have the strength to pick up the ball with one hand, and we've seen that over the years.
Yep.
So you want to embrace that to the best of their ability. We've got a couple of kids. I mean, sometimes it's not orthodox, but man, they're lighting the lanes up. They're doing it, and so we have to embrace that and teach them.
Yeah.
In some cases, some of them have decided to abandon it and go somewhere else with it and try throwing with one hand.
Yeah.
But a lot of these younger kids can't physically do it.
I think that Jason and Oscar, when they came on tour, really opened the door.
Yeah.
They really did.
For sure.
And
another thing I think that we have to kind of dispel at this point is that when people first started watching these guys bowl, they said, "Oh, these guys are going to get hurt," but they were only saying that because they were jealous and they were trying to discredit it in some way, and they would do it by telling everybody that it was going to lead to all these injuries, and that hasn't been the case in any way. And in fact, I'm not a medical expert, but by watching them and watching people who have high rev rates, they have much less stress on their body than people who bowl one-handed. There's no way you can tell me that the way that Jason bowls is more harmful to their body than how EJ bowls. There's just no way. If you watch a slow-mo of EJ from the side, that his elbow is extremely bent when he lets go of the ball, and almost like hyperextends every shot. Like that can take toll over. I'm not wishing injury on EJ or saying that he is going to get injured, but it feels like to me that would be more of a possibility than a two-handed person without their thumb that's able to cradle it, and it just looks easier to me.
It definitely seems like it's more torque on the joints the way EJ throws it than the way Belmonte throws it. And to me, it's about repeatable shots. I mean, if somebody's found a way to be able to repeat shots over and over again and be successful, then more power to them.
Yeah, the generation before kind of always hates the next one when things start to go that way. And I remember asking Johnny Petraglia like years ago. When we were actually at Calendrillo and we were watching Belmo, and I said, "Hey, just out of curiosity, did people hate Mark Roth the way that they hate Belmo?" He said, "Absolutely."
Yeah.
He goes, all the guys on tour, they really didn't they didn't like him because of the way he bowled. And he did it differently, and it's there's going to be a time when no one's going to even remember that we had these discussions or even care.
Yeah.
We're getting questions not only from the chat but via text message.
I got a text question, Billy, from a
Bill, you're a hit, Bill.
You're a big hit, Billy. So I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to ask you this courtesy of my good friend Ronnie Ziegler, who's a member of our Monday Night Draft League. Ronnie is a Vietnam vet. Semper Fi, Ronnie. Thank you for your service. So Ronnie wants to know, Billy, have you ever had any nagging injuries since you turned pro?
Yeah, it's a good question. Nothing like terribly serious, but just I would say for most pros, it's knees and lower backs is the main injuries. You just think about the amount of time we're sliding and putting all of our weight and pressure on your left knee.
Sure.
And so I've been wearing Robbie's made a product. It's just a knee strap, kind of a patella tendon strap.
Okay.
And I've been wearing that for 10 years probably.
Wow.
Kind of as a preventative thing. And now I'm trying to do as I get older, I'm trying to do more yoga and things like that to try to alleviate those type of injuries instead of relying on heavy weightlifting.
That's very smart, Billy. And if you think it hurts now at 38, wait till you turn 58.
Yeah. Well, I hope I'm not bowling for a living at 58. In a hot tub or something.
Hey, Bill,
I mean, go to the
what are your hand specs?
My hands, okay. My span. I have a pretty big hand for I guess for bowling standards. I guess my span is 4 11/16 on both fingers.
Okay.
And I have an 1/8 left in my thumb and 0 front to back pitch, and then I'm a half away in my fingers.
Okay.
Joe, is that something the bowling community wants?
I'm going to tell you why. That's a great question, Frank. I feel that a lot of great bowlers that I bowl with, amateur bowlers, tend not to tinker with thumb pitches and stuff. I happen to be one of them that did. Okay, so I started fooling around with my thumb, and that's when my release got better. Believe it or not, I went a quarter back. I started, 5/16 quarter, and I just feel that the ball lays on my fingers more, whatever. I come out of it earlier, and I felt like my rev rate went up. So many good bowlers that I bowl with, including you, will just walk into the pro shop and say, "Drill me this new storm ball," and they never really. Am I on to something here? Like Bill, like for instance, that spec sheet that you just gave us, is that the same spec sheet that you had in college?
No. And that's a good question. I've messed around with it a little bit since I've been on tour, and I was a bunch reverse in my thumb when I started, like 5/16, and then I got back to 0 or an 1/8, and then there was a certain point on tour where when you become successful and then you kind of lose it a little bit, you search for things, and so that was the thumb pitch thing. I was messing around with, and there was a time when the back part of the lane was really crisp. Like you had to really get out of it real soft because you had to control the lane. So I went way forward. I went to a quarter, and then I went to a half.
Wow.
And I was really trying to stay as relaxed as I could in the ball. But then after a certain period when the lane started to change, and now we have to hit it a lot more, I didn't understand why I wasn't bowling well. And it wasn't my timing. Like I would throw shots that I would post, and the ball would just spin off my hand, and I didn't know why. And it took me a long time to really figure it out because I'm not really a fit guy. I don't drill balls. It's not something I think about. But it was because I had so much forward in my thumb that I couldn't clear it. The ball just wouldn't come off my hand. So once I went back to a 0, it's just it made the world difference. Like I was able to get out of it a little bit quicker, and I'm able to manipulate my ball roll a lot more.
Am I wrong by saying that more bowlers like ourselves should know that, at least research it?
Yeah, I think some of it is trial and error too. If you have a good pro shop guy, they can kind of there's a way you can measure the hand to see what your pitch in an ideal world should be. But you can mess around a little bit, and if you feel like you're losing it, you can go a little more forward. If you can't get out of it, you can go a little more reverse. There's and you just got to kind of play around with it and see where what feels right.
Hey, we're pretty lucky. Jimmy and Ray know a lot, and so you ask them the right questions, they can help there.
Absolutely.
Most of us do, and myself included, walk in the shop and say, "Hey, Jim, drill me a new stone. I need a new color."
That's it.
So I'm ready to roll, and I trust him to make that decision and drill it the way I want it to.
What happened to me was I drilled the thumb forward. I started moving it forward to start, and it wasn't really. I felt like it was on my hand. I couldn't get it off. So one day I picked up the ball backwards, where the fingers were the other way, right? So I was like, "Oh, this thumb feels pretty good." That was reversed. It was the complete opposite of the forward.
Right.
So then I went back and I drilled one with a 5/16 reverse. That was a little much when I got started, but I could tell that the rev rate went up and the ball was coming off my hand, cleaner. And when he said posting shots, all of a sudden I was, I had more pin action. I'm like, that was the difference. I was always going in saying 0-0 everything, walk out.
Yeah.
It was that.
So what it's worth, you leave just as many 10 pins as I do.
True. Every 5 years you leave 2 more per game.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know, bowling next to you the last few weeks, you're leaving those 10 pins. Yeah. It gets a little aggravating. Right? Hey, Bill, before you sign off with us, again, thank you for joining us again.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, no problem.
I do want to tell the guys here, you have some stiff competition. And thank you for being here today, but we're a ratings bonanza, as you guys are saying. We have Brittany just checked in from California. Wow. So say hello to Joey. Always thinking about her. Montana, We got new markets here.
Wow.
New markets.
My
I don't
brother
know.
lives in Montana.
Yeah, I don't
My
know if you
brother-
reach them. So anybody that's watching that watches Monday night, you'll know what I'm talking about. So Bill, hey, any closing thoughts on what's going on and something that you may have not shared with us?
About what's going on in the world?
What's going on in the world? Hey, Bill,
man,
Bill's in his house. What's going on in the world
In
around
Bill's
you?
world.
How about the board
It's a tough time, It's a time. I wish we were still bowling, but there's a lot of people who are in much worse position than I am. My wife's a teacher, so she's doing okay. So my heart goes out to all those people that are like you guys, in businesses that really rely on this, on people, and it's a brutal time, and I hope it ends soon, and for me myself, I've been attempting to practice social distancing for some time now, so this has been great, really, just to kind of hang out and not talk to anybody or do anything. So but maybe talk to me next week at this time, and it might be a different story. But for now, I'm doing all right.
Good point. That's a good point.
It's funny you say that. So while we're sitting here, New York City set up a text service. You can get alerts and updates. So while we're sitting here, I've gotten 2 notifications. Your social distancing saves others. Do your part and maintain 6 feet between you. So we haven't been sitting here long, but we know we're 6 feet from you.
Yeah.
So we're working on it.
Yeah.
And so when you tune in the rest of the week, we certainly will do much better.
Yeah.
Try to make the best of it. Bill, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Bill.
We
Thank you, Bill.
appreciate you coming in. This is our premiere, and Bill O'Neill can say he was the first
First
guest on
That's awesome.
live.
Thank you, guys.
So this will continue daily. We're not signing off just yet because we have breaking news. We have a special guest tomorrow. You want to?
J-Lo.
No, come on.
It's A-Rod?
I mean,
No.
Bill, hang out with us for a moment. Don't go away. So breaking news. Guys, tell them who our guest tomorrow is.
Our guest tomorrow, you're going to love this one, everybody. The executive and artistic director of the Avenel Performing Arts Center, the Anthony Wilkinson.
Oh,
nice.
There it is. Folks.
Hey, sorry, you're taking a walk with me right now because my phone's on 1%. So
All right. Hey, Bill, we'll let you go. Thank you again. We'll talk
Thank
to you
you, Bill.
soon. Thank you, Billy.
You were
thanks,
great.
guys.
Bill. Good luck, Billy.
Thank you.
So, that was awesome.
Very well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was cool. Hey, we got 75 viewers here that are still tuning in. We're getting there.
You always add zeros. You always add
No,
zeros.
75. No, we're going to be there. 75,000.
You always add zeros.
75,000.
That's how we do it.
You always add zeros.
We're going to break the internet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So breaking news. So Brother Anthony's going to come on tomorrow.
Very nice.
He's going to enlighten us. God knows what's going on in his head. And I did have something I did want to ask Bill before he signed off. I forgot. You guys talked about, he was here a few months ago.
Yeah.
We held this late night classic, this overnight bowling tournament that the kids competed in.
Right.
2 a.m. They were ripping, ready to roll, locked them in the bowling center.
Yeah.
And the champion got the experience, a one-day experience with Bill O'Neill here on the lanes. Devin Flowers was the first champion of that event, and it was awesome. The kids loved it. Bill was great. So we'll get Bill back and before that event.
Yeah.
And that's August 15th. 2 a.m.
What made you guys do it at 2 a.m., by the way? Was it time constraint or you decided to do that? Because I think that's fantastic idea.
Partially the kids asked for it.
I think it's a great
They
idea.
wanted
past
something
Ray, do you
like that.
remember the overnight marathons?
Oh,
Big
St.
Bucks,
St.
too.
Big Bucks,
Big
St.
Bucks.
Patrick's used to
Yeah,
start
yeah.
at midnight.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
used to stay there all night watching.
Yeah, no, wait,
Love
that's my
to do
bedtime now.
So Michael Giovanazzo, Ratings Bonanza, he's reminding us.
A+ production, which
Yeah.
we really appreciate.
So-
Thank you,
Gio.
Gio. Thank you, Gio.
So the tournament, there was at Calendrillo Lanes hosted a 2 a.m. tournament for a long time.
Yes, they did.
And we remember it. We kind of said, hey, but the kids asked for this. This is something that they wanted. And we wanted to deliver something that wasn't just the regular scholarship
Something
event.
different.
Something different. And man, they ate it up.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward. Bill's volunteered to do it again.
Good.
And they're going to have a chance to win a day on the lanes with Bill.
Excellent.
And Frankie Copey just reminded, best tournament he's bowled in.
All
And
right.
it wasn't, I mean, we also gave equipment to some of the winners.
Yeah.
And it was really a different format,
Yeah.
which was really nice. We enjoyed doing it too.
So one of the things we've got for our tell it for our webcast here. We're going to call it the meme of the day. So we're all sitting there scrolling all the time, and we come across these crazy memes. So one, we're going to share with you our meme of the day. Nazareth picked this one out. Naz is going to introduce it. But we want you to share your favorite memes with us. So private message us here on Facebook, or if you're watching on YouTube, shoot us a message. We want your favorite memes, but we've got today's favorite meme.
All right, you said you said you love spending time with your kids. The key part of this is hearing this in Maury Povich's voice.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yeah, that's the key.
Ignore that quarantine is misspelled.
Yeah.
The COVID-19 quarantine determined that was a lie.
Oh, God.
So all of you that are homeschooling, we know it's a struggle, and I think we all have a new appreciation for teachers and what they go through.
Definitely.
So
The other teacher memes are funny too.
Those are good. They were.
there was one about the carrying the one.
No, yes, and the one where someone's trying to get their kid out of the class already.
Yeah.
There's also been a reported teacher drinking on the job.
There's a lot of that going on, I'm sure.
We know some of our parents that are home with their children, and I'm sure that there's all of the above. So those memes are probably true.
Yes.
So share with us your favorite meme to be featured as the meme of the day.
Yep.
The rest of the week, we're going to be pretty busy the rest of the week on our show. We've got some great guests lined up. This isn't just about bowling. And so one, thank you guys for joining us talking about bowling.
My pleasure.
We're going to talk about bowling, of course. I mean, that's what we do.
Sure.
Hand specs?
No.
Hand specs?
I mean,
Front pages?
we started losing people. We got so technical.
Ray, help me out, Ray.
So
they're saying we lost.
So Joe Bruno might not be allowed back on the show.
Hey, listen,
if we're
I'm
gonna
working
get too
from home all
technical.
week. I can come on my lunch hour. I'm right down the block. I might pop in. So, it's fine.
Kevin's reminding us that we need to have our fire drills. Oh, is that the homeschool parents should be having the fire drills at the school? Oh, that's funny.
Thanks, Kevin.
So the rest of the week, we've got some guests lined up. So Anthony's coming in tomorrow. Our good friend Diane Arnett from Community Health Action. She's going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the world and the work that Chazzy does. And we do some great work with them, too. Pam Silvestri from the Staten Island Advance, the food editor. She's been live every day talking a little bit about the restaurant world and what's happening in the food business. So she's going to come and speak with us. Okay. And Naz, another guest that we lined up today.
Greg Mocker, WBIX 11 News.
That's
We're super excited about Greg. We love him. He's a great person to talk. So
the breast cancer bowl-a-thon host.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. He joins us every year for our bowl-a-thon.
Yep.
So I don't know if he's going to talk about the MTA,
Oh God,
pizza.
there's so much you can cover.
I'm not really sure, but actually, that's a perfect segue. Look at this.
Oh,
We are getting a fresh delivery of pizza.
Look at this.
From Marco.
We got lunch.
We got lunch.
How nice.
Thank you,
Marco.
Like the best segue ever,
Perfect.
Marco.
Okay, he's like, wait a minute. I'll spray him down. Hold on. Spray him down.
Wow, look at you.
Thanks, Marco. Thank you, bud.
You're right here.
Look at this.
Right, yeah.
Look at that. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And yes, folks, he does have gloves on. He has gloves on.
Well, so Marco, is it one bite? Everyone knows the rules.
Everybody knows. One bite.
Come on in here, Marco. So we were just talking about Greg, and so Greg might be talking about pizza this week. But Marco, you guys have been great. We've been open 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Making food. Him and Tina and a couple of their staff making deliveries. And so, one, thank you. But you want to just say a little bit about what's going on here with delivering food, and you want to say some thank yous?
Well, of course, thank you. I mean, we're here to support our community. Not only myself, the trophy shop, Ray, Naz, Frankie. Obviously, it's a tough time for everyone, but I believe in us being strong, doing your part, and wash your hands. Wash your face. Wash your mouth too.
That's right. That's right.
But that's every day.
That's every day. You should be doing that every day. So if we do our part, I'm here to do my part. So I mean, we're here.
That looks good.
Yeah,
Smells
it does look
delicious.
One bite, everybody knows the rules.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Marco.
Thank you.
I know Joe Cal picked up some pizza yesterday.
I did. I was here Wednesday night. I got home from work a little on the late side, and I called, and Tina answered the phone, and I said, "Is it too late? It's around 7:20." No, the pizza ovens are still on. So I said, "We'll take a white pie and a regular pie," and I came down, and I picked up. Marco let me in. And Marco was here, and Tina was here, and Arturo was here. Like I said, Piero was running around in the back somewhere. But we went home. We had a delicious pizza. We had 2 delicious pizzas. And friends like Marco keep us fed. He knows the hungry. He knows who's hungry. That's
Speaking of Piero,
Yeah,
he's
God.
emerged from the back.
You can see in the background.
See?
we go.
I was right.
Piero's making an appearance
I
at the
was
Bowling
right.
Center.
He is back. He's always here.
The Bono family just left with a bunch of food too.
Yes,
so,
they did. That's right.
we hope it's important. You need to stay hydrated. You need to eat.
Yes.
The
Absolutely.
liquor stores, I've heard, are essential, so they're open.
Yeah.
They're
I
open.
mean, I would consider them essential. They should be open.
Just a quick story on that note. Yesterday, 67 Wine and Spirits on Columbus Avenue. There was a line around the block. I kid you not. The line was around the block.
Were they
People-
keeping a safe
yes,
distance?
They social distance, but the line wrapped around 67th Street. I'm like, you
Wow.
gotta be kidding me. There's a lot of people that were doing a lot of drinking last night in Manhattan.
So not that Jeff's a teacher, but Jeff put his favorite meme this week is if you see me talking to myself, mind your business. I'm having a parent-teacher conference. That's a good one, Jeff. That's a good one. Some class might be in session over there, Jeff. I mean, he talks to himself on the lanes anyway, so I don't know if that
Correct.
makes a difference.
And it doesn't matter if anybody's listening.
He does not like Rob Butler. He's in a league of his own talking to himself. That's for another day.
Well, so thank you for joining us. We went over our expected time frame.
We
We
did.
might have to adjust this
Can I
with our
say
special
thank you,
guest.
Frank? Thank you for inviting us, Frank
Yes.
and Naz.
Thank you,
Frank
Frank and
always
Naz.
has
Thank you for
great
inviting-
ideas involving the community.
Thanks for keeping us.
I hope everybody understands this.
Yes.
This bowling alley behind us, top
Yes.
notch.
Yep.
Frank, you do things right.
Yep.
Proud of you.
Yep. Absolutely. They
and,
keep us grounded, folks.
Best of luck. Anytime you need any sort of questions. I didn't even get to my cool questions.
Oh,
He left.
I know. Like about what his first call was, what his favorite Italian ice might be. You know, those are the things the bowling community
Do you
really
drink
wants
milk?
to know. Yes.
We have some milk inside. We probably should. We need to get rid of
You might
it.
wanna
If
dump
anybody needs
it.
a
Yeah,
gallon of
you
milk.
might want to dump it. Unless,
But all
you know,
kidding
yeah.
aside, thank you, Frank
Yeah.
and Naz.
Thank you.
No,
Thank you
you're
both.
welcome. We're
Thank you.
thrilled to have you guys with
Thank you.
us.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so you've heard this before. Naz and I get in trouble a lot because these ideas spew. And this was one of them that Naz said, "Hey, I have an idea. Let's go do something." I said, "You know what's funny? It's something we'd love to do." We were kind of on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
And we do that often, and it's kind of scary.
Scary.
It's kind of how the flamingos started.
I got flocked. I know Joe got flocked. So yeah, it was a flocking good time.
Our production team includes some of our flockers.
Yes,
So
it does.
Liz and Ashley are
Yep.
out there flocking people.
Yep.
And don't worry, October's coming
Oh,
soon.
I know. It'll be
So,
here.
so
It'll be
and Greg's going to remind us about that. Well,
Yep.
thank you guys for
Our
joining us.
pleasure. You're welcome.
Our door is always open for you
Thank you.
as long as we unlock it.
Yes.
All right. As long as you call us first.
That's right.
Call us first.
That's right.
Well, we're going to spray you down and check
Yeah.
your temperature before you walk in the
That's
building.
okay. That's what you have to do. It's
But
fine.
if you're watching, like, share. If you are watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to our channel. We've got more coming to you. Hey, I was going to say, Naz, we need a closing, but Joe is going to
Joe
close.
has a perfect closing for us.
Joe's going to close us out.
Yeah,
today.
well, thank you. I usually do the closing on Monday nights live at the Draft League, and I have my usual spiel that I do. But I had to tweak it a little bit because of everything going on outside in our crazy world right now. So, folks, we're going to sign off with, again, thank you to everyone here, Frank and Naz and Liz and Marco and Ray and everybody associated with Rab's Country Lanes. Thank you on behalf of Joe Bruno and myself. And we want to say, as we sign off, good afternoon, and then good night later. Good luck. God bless always. I can't wait to hug everybody. And stay clean. Wash those hands. Who knew after all these years, Mom was always right. Wash those hands. Stay clean and sanitize from now till the cows come home. Stay clean.
It was Jim Carrey that said, "Good morning, good afternoon,
Yeah,
good evening,
yeah,
good night."
Yes, it was.
Thanks again. We'll see you tomorrow, and we're here tomorrow at 2 p.m.
Big Ray.
And Ray is always here.
As my support.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Take care, all. That was great.
All right, before you get up, Joe, don't get up yet. We're going to take
Okay,
a
we're gonna
picture.
take a picture? Okay.